Well, this is good. I'm sailing between the Stanley Islands, Flinders Islands. Don't know which is which. I think that's Flinders over there and this is Stanley. A couple of cats back there on the sandbar. Plenty of good places for anchorages in all winds. Just got to move around. Malachi's doing well. Yeah, all good. Just going along this mangrove edge at the moment. I love it when I'm in this situation where I can get in the shallows. The big mountains up there, I'll be over there sometime this week. Spend a week here, wait for the winds. But there's a place to get water just up here where it catches off a root. I'm just wondering how much water's there. Everybody would have got hold of it. Anyway, save the film. This is where I am on Flinders Island. And I'm right there where the watershed is. And I'm going to park over here maybe tonight. Go over here, check all this out. Some islands in the middle I might stay on. And it's part of, that's where I am right now. Cape Melville, that's where I was a day ago, over here. Anyway, this is a shed being set up, especially just to catch water off the roof and funnel it into those big water tanks there. Nice pure rainwater apart from a bit of dirt in it. Look at the view. That's pretty good, isn't it? Just freshly been burnt off. Toilet over there. Nice setup for national parks to do what they did. And here's the water. But I'm going to go up that way, cruise to the top and get a view. And just wait for some people. About 10 o'clock I'm going to go for a walk. So this is my hang. Nice place, eh? This is what was kept a naval military secret for 153 years by the Spanish because they were at war with the Dutch. And this used to be a super highway through here for Spanish ships. And as they came through, there's all these reefs all off here called Great Detached Reefs, and a lot of impacts on these reefs in the 1800s. But the Spanish used to come through here around Bramble Cay and make their way all the way through here. And you had big currents going that way and currents going that way, and one sea would flow into here and one sea would flow into there. So nothing but chaos for the sailors. It's a quarantine zone, this map set up, but gives you a good idea what was happening back in the 1600s. And this whole place here is just scattered with ships. Ships with treasure on it, carrying goods. Lots of people died, lots of people got eaten by the Murray Islanders. Lots of everything. So there's cannons, there's ships, there's anchors, gold, rubies and emeralds and just about anything else that they took from South America to bring across here. But I've decided I'm going to have a shave. I'm looking a bit feral and just clean up my appearance a bit. But look at this view. Be great to sit back here and have a barbecue, but you can't light fires. Well, I'm at this place on the beach. My boat's parked around there, and I walked up here and there's a crocodile right here. But he's only 1.5 meters long, or a metre. I'd say here's a little one. Just sitting in there. Nice. Of all places to find crocodile. Well, at least they're here. First crocodile of the whole journey, believe it or not. Where there's little ones, there's bigger ones. He's very relaxed, we'll just leave him there. But it's interesting to know that if there is any overhangs like this, that crocs would be underneath it, so it's something to know. It's all a conglomerate of sandstone and rock. It'd be great to see a gold nugget sticking out of this. Well, sitting on this big midden here. All these shells are all being collected by Bummer Man, and they sat here and they ate as the sun set or the sun was coming up. They did it obviously in the cool part of the day. It's interesting that they ate this way for so long. Just anything. You know, like, there's not much that's within one of those, and you'd have to eat probably 20 to 30 of those to keep yourself full. And I don't know if they cooked them up or ate them raw. So it's interesting, but just look for a cave and just check out this area. I'm behind all this mangrove at the moment, and this is a little rocky island in the middle of the mangroves where Bummer Man once sat. No crocodiles at the moment, except for that little one that I saw. Here's this interesting rock. Nice, isn't it? Go for a little walk that way. Well, right over there is the skull caves with some mesh in it, from what I've learnt. There's a couple of dead bodies in there. There used to be 4 or 5, but now there's only 2. And they look out across this spot, across to a place called Clack Island. Now I'm in the middle of this little island that's in the middle of the mangroves here. Walk to it, and this is where Bummer Man once sat, because there's that midden down there. And he's got some few paintings in here. There's a wood fireplace. Who knows how old that wood is? It's been burnt over time, and it looks like the fire was here. There's a bit of smoke up on the ceiling just here. There's some paintings in here. Got my torch. I don't know what that is. There's 2 turtles there. That's where they would have went right up in there to sleep. No other paintings. There's some bats in here. Bit of a hole. Nothing on the ceiling. Oh, here I am, where Bummer Man once was. And from here, believe it or not, while I'm sitting in here, I got dead bodies way over there, just in that cliff there. Yeah. Up above the mangroves there. Pretty hard seeing through the GoPro. But that's where skeletons are looking back here. So I'm a live man. Have a look on dead man resting place. You think that once here, and she goes pretty far back there. But once here, there was people living and surviving and going to bed. They've seen cyclones go through our past. They've felt the winds coming in and sucking all the dust out. It's pretty incredible. Let's have a back view. Yeah, right back there. Pretty cool, eh? It's nice. Good hole. Very good hole. Water would have dripped through this rock here. Wore that away. Great shot. Well, that's what I walked across to get to here. Mind this big place of rocks. There's my boat and other boats, ebb tide. And off there is all island, Stanley Island. This is on Flender Island. So once again on top of the world, here, it's great. Look at my view. Plenty of wind if you've got a wind generator. I'll have a quick look around. But that's the view. Crocodiles, mud crabs, fish, dugongs, turtles, stingrays, stonefish. Well, out here in the mud, this salt pan mud plan. Great. You could land a small plane on here, like an airfield. You just land in, but the mud might stick to the wheels. Look at that. It'd be great to just come here and practice golf. That'd be the go. Also, if you found a rock, unusual, but on top of all this mud, if you found a small stone, you just don't walk past it, you actually pick it up and look at it, because that's the only way you can find meteorites. Little small stones sitting on the surface come through, made it so far and land here. There's a person I know that collects them on a big plateau in Peru. It's about 4,000 feet high. Big flat top like this, and she goes there and picks up meteorites, and she's given me 12 of them. Pretty amazing. And I call this the Flinders line on the airport. Look at that big, just come down from up there. There's just caves everywhere, absolutely everywhere. I wonder if that crocodile's still there. Anyway. Well, right here in this big desert plain. No crocodiles. Caves up there, caves up there, caves over here, caves over there. It's pretty full on. This place has got a lot of history. Massive cave systems and sandstone conglomerate, all hollowed out, riddled with caves. That's my passage out of here when I leave. Beautiful bit of coastline. Well, it's great, this little bit of adventures. Only starting today, and I might be getting way over there. Check it all out. There's apparently some paintings on the other side of some boats and stuff. Go for a bit of an explore. Anyway, signing off for now. Up to the talking chair. You got to tilt that rock up with a crowbar and put those rocks underneath it. This would weigh at least 3.5 tons, 3 tons. So this is lining up straight that way to where the dead bodies are of Bummer Man that are buried, the ancients of this place, to Clack Mountain Island, which is over there, but I'll see if I can get a different shot. Lots of stones. There's a pathway here I can see. Beautiful colours in the rock. This place has got so much exploring. There's Clack. Now that island out there that you can see with the big cliffs, that's a witch doctor's island, voodoo magic man, and you don't go there at all. I know I got the Lord, but there's some things you can do and some things you just can't do. It's respect to the Indigenous people or whites like that. I heard of a guy, I actually met him when he came back from here, and he was told by an Indigenous man not to go on the island. As soon as he stepped off the boat, he went straight onto a stonefish, and that was it, ended his trip. And he was in pain. I saw him for days, he was in pain. But this is interesting. This is what they call a talking chair, where you sit in here and you actually would talk across to there, do their singing, and it would echo out. And I've learnt a bit about these talking chairs. There's a few of them. So this will be another sacred site. Quite interesting. Seems to be a bit of a, yeah, that's a little bit of artwork in there. Just there. And here. Very old. So that's definitely a bit of artwork, ochre. With respect, I'm not going to stand on top of that rock just to get a view. But everything here back in those days, especially to do with, you know, spirit, Indigenous man, especially that island out there, and the way it lines up right through here for that burial, from what I've learnt. Boy, there's some exploring to do here. Bit of a light sea breeze at the moment. I'm just going to have a look-see. Look at that bit of coast there. Well, I'm up the top of this hill, and as far as I know, it might be a sacred site, circle of stones and things, how it's been done. There's Malachi down there, ebb tide just there. Sear of the sea way off in the background. Pretty light winds at the moment. Look at that view there, it's beautiful. Wouldn't mind checking out just around there. There's the hills. So I'm not too sure about this, if it's a bunch of people that have put some rocks together, as in white people, you know, like they do on top of Lizard Island. But there's a group of stones that's marking straight over there. The bottom cliff's just above the mangroves. There's supposed to be a burial ground of skulls and bodies, and where that is, it overlooks this point to a place called Clack Island, which is a witch doctor's island. Now, this is interesting, this big stone here, all jacked up under rocks. Now to do that, it's pretty hard. There's paintings over there. Ben Crop took me to once. Bathurst Head will change. There's going to be a big gas oil terminal going out there. Well, it's great being here. See my boat down there. Tide's coming in. But I haven't got that much time. I have to hurry up on what I'm doing. So what's happened at this spot? This is the Connawarra steamship, and the Indigenous people here, Bummer Man, he recorded everything that went past this point from way back from 1606 to now. Well, not now, because in 1908 all the Bummer people were removed from Princess Charlotte Bay, which is here, to Bloomfield River, which is just north of Cape Crib, and they were taken on what were called the death ships. One was the Marinda and one was the Connawarra. And the death ships took them to Yarrabah, Palm Island, Bowen and Townsville. And then later on they made their way back, but when they got back they got recaptured again back in 1938 to 1941 by the Marinda. And there was another government steamship. So it's very important, and this is basically the last picture that was drawn of the ships, because it's over all the other ships. There's about 8 ships behind that. But at the moment the moss is more than what I've ever seen it. Way more. And it's pretty wild. It's going to be really hard one day to see these pictures. But it's a good documentation of early man. Up here on the ceiling we've got looks like it's a big dugong, and we got other things here. This is an interesting thing. This is we got over here crocodile, turtles, swordfish, little handprint. The kid was here. dugongs, turtle or bird. There's a painting on that rock, but it's very faint. Anyway, it's great to come back. It's been a long journey just to get here. It's 300 miles I've done. I've got to do it all the way back. So it's been a great journey. My mission's complete. I'm going to go up top and see where Bummer Man once drank water and where he looked out. See what was coming past so he could document all this. And go from there. Seems to be the only place really for the paintings. This is where, have a look around here. Really nothing. Now go up where they once walked and got to the top. Great. Just cathedrals. I'll go up there in a minute. Last film of the man on the wall. So it's like with the black light. Black light. Well, that's it for the man on the wall. I guess this journey's over for me. I don't know if I'll ever come back to this cave or any reason to be. But it's been a pleasure knowing this character and getting to know Taurus and the Querals and their boat. And how old this painting is, it'll never be known. Why? Because it won't be long before there's a big gas oil terminal going off Baffers Head, which is just over there. And this whole place will be a no-go zone. And that's the end of the story. And that's why the story's been suppressed. Because of the wealth that's underground and the greed. People don't get to know the truth. But the Lord raised up his people, me being one of them. I was honoured to find this place back in 2000. And I don't know, just bring it to light. But it's time for me. I've been here a bit too long. I'm going to get up on top. Just looking through the penthouse there. Look at this place. Massive. Beautiful colours. Some shells on the ground. Just here. More. Big shell there. Chasm down there. Well, look at this. Not a bad, cool place to hang out. Huge. stairway. Look at that up there. That view. This is great. No paintings. That's because water would come down here and they knew not to do it. Nothing up there. This is where Bummer Man would have walked. That's unreal, look at it. Rocks balancing on top of rocks. Can't wait to have a swim. You hear a plane or a boat. There's the man on the wall. I'm back here. Anyway, enough of this now. Time for me to get back to the boat and call it quits. It's been great, enjoyable. This is where Bummer Man would have lived. He witnessed Taurus. So I've got to get back to the boat now and get sailing. And hill. That's what I needed, the breeze. So just down there, out a bit, Taurus would have anchored his boat, 40 feet of water, and then they would have rowed the shore and done the job, anointed the country on behalf of, under the directions of the Queros, on behalf of the Lord Jesus. Well, I'm going to call it quits. Let's come to some of the lookout points. I'm going to get over there now, meet up with some friends, eat some chocolate cake, and quench my thirst. So there's Nick Malachi signing off here at the Man on the Wall. History in the making on the anointing of this country in 1606 and 2015.